In its 8 years of existence, the Business Sector Advocacy Challenge Fund, BUSAC Fund, has enabled businesses to thrive amidst challenges. Through the use of business advocacy, BUSAC Fund helps businesses in the private sector overcome challenges that have sought to threaten their existence.
The USAID is a partner fund to the DANIDA. BUSAC is a concept that was developed by DANIDA, and the idea of BUSAC is to just provide funds to support advocacy in the private sector. The concept was a very good one, and we joined them since 2005 when they started. We funded the first part of BUSAC 1, and we are now in the second phase called BUSAC 2.
The Business Sector Advocacy Challenge Fund, BUSAC Fund, provided over 600 grants to various private sector organizations across the 10 regions of Ghana to help strengthen their advocacy capacity.
For BUSAC Fund, we provide support not to enterprises, but the representatives of the business enterprises that know and address the key issues of their members. And for this reason, the support we provide them is to raise an advocacy issue that needed to be addressed in order to bring the changes that improves, in turn, the enabling environment of the enterprises.
Other development partners have been looking at how to support the business enabling environment in Ghana, and business advocacy was seen as one of the gaps that were to be addressed way back also, I think, some 8-9 years ago when DANIDA started the support to business advocacy.
In our technical support in this area, one of the areas that we always get is the other support that is needed in maybe a community you're working in or with a farmer-based organization. And we thought BUSAC was a perfect opportunity for these communities to also be able to advocate for any challenges that they may be having. Because, so that if, for example, we're working with a farming group and we are helping them with technical expertise to improve their farming techniques, and maybe they're having challenges in their locality in terms of access to water or access to land, then they can go to the BUSAC Fund, apply for a fund to help them advocate their local assembly to get better access rights to their land or maybe a source of a small water pump, etc.
BUSAC Fund finances through grants up to 90% of the cost of advocacy actions that are selected in each call for concept note.
In the first phase, there wasn't a Tamale office, and as a result, many of the associations couldn't access the grant from Accra. And even if they accessed the grant, it was just short visits by the Accra office staff that was provided to these grantees, and it was woefully inadequate to many situations to help them achieve the results that we wanted. So after the first phase, when we got the second phase, there was a need to set up the Tamale office to provide assistance to grantees in this area and also support many associations to access the BUSAC Fund for advocacy. Within the SADA zone, we are working with 89 grantees. Within the 3 regions of the North, Upper East, Upper West, and Northern region, we are dealing with 69 associations.
BUSAC, along with many other programs that are in place by the government, by other donors, by ourselves, I think will have a tremendous impact. In fact, we're already seeing some impact in the agricultural sector already.
I will talk about Zalda. Zalda is an association that is into dry season gardening, and they have a problem with damp. And with all this support we have given them, today, if you go there, you will see that the damp has been worked on, and the association is happy, and this damp is not only going to benefit the association, but the entire community at large. So you can see our results, they go beyond the association level, and that is what advocacy means.
A lot of our work is trying to improve the links from farmers to markets and to access to finance, better inputs, agricultural inputs. And all these are done by different entrepreneurs, different businesses. But often those businesses don't have a real voice. They don't have a real voice in either creating policy or identifying what some of the issues are that's not permitting the market to function as well as possible. And so when DANIDA came up with this idea of BUSAC, of providing a way for businesses to increase their capacity for advocacy, we thought it was a great opportunity to work with the private sector directly.
Zalda is a community grouping. They form themselves into an association, and they really look out for the needs of the community as a people, and then they pursue through support, and they are really bold enough to come to assembly, go to all the areas they can find help.
When we became Zalda, we were still working in our various groups, and then we come together and we realized that, in fact, we had no water, and the whole group decided that that should be our key point of asking for water. And how do we ask for it? So we have to fall on our mother tracks, and they say, okay, if that's the case, they'll consult BUSAC to see if they can help us.
Somewhere around 2010, the members of Zalda came out with a particular issue that has to do with the fact that a dam was started in their community and not completed under the IFAD project. And so we saw it basically as an advocacy issue. And so we decided to put in a proposal to the Business Sector Advocacy Challenge Fund. And fortunately for them, they got the funding. And we decided to embark on an advocacy action to get the District Assembly and other stakeholders to complete the irrigation dam.
Ghana Irrigation Authority, we are the government institution that is mandated to undertake land and water resources development. In this mandate, we undertake the construction of dams, dugouts for irrigation, for livestock, and for aquaculture. Zanlerigu Dam was a dam constructed under LACOSEP 2. LACOSEP 2 is an acronym for Land Conservation and Smallholder Rehabilitation Project, second phase, which was funded by IFAD from 2002 to 2006. At the time the project ended in 2006, the Zanlerigu Dam was not fully completed, but the project ended and therefore funding stopped. And therefore the embankment was about halfway complete. When the project was ending, there was an arrangement that in all districts where the projects were not completed, when the project folded up, the district assemblies were expected to continue and finish. But this was not in the case for Zanlerigu. The assembly didn't continue.
District assembly on our own, but then I was the chief executive of Kalensi Nabdam. Couldn't push in that big money, looking at our system.
In December 2010, the Zanlerigu-Langube Development Association was given a grant by the BUSAC Fund to embark on an advocacy action christened Completion of Irrigation Dam to boost dry season farming activities. A research was conducted to gather data on the history of the uncompleted irrigation dam, level of completion of the dam, effects on the livelihood of farmers as a result of delay in its completion. Activities were held to enhance the capacity of the selected association members of the concept and practices of advocacy to enable them effectively undertake the advocacy action. This enabled the association prepare evidence-based proposal for the action. Members of the association, as well as other members of the community, were educated on the findings of the research. The essence was to increase members' understanding of the issues so that they can effectively contribute to the implementation of the action. For the Zanlerigu-Langube Development Association, the road to success was not smooth. The association faced some challenges.
The dialogue meeting, it was really very, very difficult. It took us more than 2 months to be able to get the assembly and other duty bearers for us to have that particular dialogue meeting. Now, after the dialogue meeting, we decided to do a number of follow-ups. And the follow-ups took the form of telephone calls, sometimes personal visits to the assembly and other duty bearers, and all sort of pressure,
They went to radio stations, they held stakeholders and policymakers to meetings, a lot of things. Some of the workshops I was invited.
At the end of the day, we're fortunate the dam was awarded to a particular contractor to do the completion of the dam. And fortunately for us, the money came from GSOP, that is Ghana Social Opportunities Project.
Somewhere along the line, we had a Ghana Social Opportunities Project coming in. It's a project under Ministry of Local Government. So the assemblies were asked to submit proposals of dams that they wanted rehabilitated.
The GSOP begins by a general orientation of all stakeholders as to what the project is about and the modes of implementation. Districts are supposed to select sub-projects from their medium-term plan, which can be done using labor-based approach. GSOP, because we want to create as much employment as possible, we are using the labor-based methods or labor-intensive methods of construction. So when we see labor-intensive methods, on a scale of let's say 1 to 100, you have labor, unskilled labor especially, taking about 80%, and then equipment taking 20%, so that employment is maximized, to the fullest. On the average, we had 247 participants, of which 120 were males, and the remaining number being females.
The rehabilitation started in September and ended in May. So by that stretch of time, you can imagine the amount of money that has gone into the pockets of the participants.
The cost for maintaining that dam or rehabilitating that dam was 414,000 Ghana cedis, and out of that, 247 participants or laborers benefited, and an amount of 250,000 out of the 414 went into their pockets, which is over 50% of the total expenditure.
This dam, we constructed it. As you can see, we didn't use machines. It was constructed under our hands, our back, our heads. The community came out, and then those who came to construct this showed us how to do it. And we are getting something by the end of the day. We even work in turns. They group us. So these people will work for 1 week, another group will come for the other week. We are alternating until this dam, you've seen the completion of this dam.
We extract shea butter. That is not our main work. Our work is farming, but we are only using the shea butter to support the farming. So when the farming collapsed, we were suffering. Indeed, we are suffering. Now that they have constructed this dam, we are going to blend the two. In fact, we were using the shea butter as a supplement to the farming. So we are grateful to trucks that led us to BUSAC Fund. And so, we will go back to our original work, which is very good for us to support our children's education.
I will use the water to do a lot of things. When I was a young man, I used to cultivate tomatoes, pepper, onions, and a lot of things. Maybe my age will not permit me to do, but for the presence of this water, I'm thinking of doing more.
The dam is a multi-purpose dam. It has an irrigation infrastructure which irrigates 9 hectares. Every household has livestock. Without water, they will perish. But with now water available, the livestock have water all year round. They also have the opportunity to do fishery, because then if the dam is stocked, they can engage in aquaculture. Even if it is not stocked, naturally there will be fish which they can also burn, so to also augment their protein needs.
All these has been made possible by the Business Sector Advocacy Challenge Fund, BUSAC Fund, with support from the development partners, namely Danida, USAID, and EU.
The communal spirit that was almost dying in the communities being enhanced following their association with BUSAC Fund. They managed to realize the need to work as a community, to plan for themselves, and then to engage the duty bearers.
We wish that they will continue to do that for other communities, continue to do the advocacy role, so that felt needs of the communities are brought to the attention of authorities.
All our programs are focused on trying to transform the agriculture sector so that it's a sector where people are not trying to run away from, but they actually see it as a job, as a possibility to create wealth.